All around the globe, homes are abandoned, from major cities like Paris and Chicago to the suburbs and rural areas that surround them. In Mesa, Arizona, the biggest suburb in the United States, no children play in backyards. No parents stroll the sidewalks. The houses sit empty. Every room is silent. Every hallway eerily still. But one sound remains, the low hum of what once made life in these homes possible, even in the brutal heat of the Sonoran Desert. Air conditioning.
These deserts shouldn't be fit for human life, but somehow people call them home.
Air conditioning is absolutely crucial in places as hot as Mesa. Lifeless and scorched by the sun, humans rolled the dice on the desert and forced it to bend to our will.
Most of these large houses are built with black shingled roofs and giant picture windows. They look great from the outside. Without air conditioning, those roofs suck up heat from the sun and turn those upper floors into a heat sink. Then those picture windows act like panes in a greenhouse, letting in sunlight and trapping the heat inside.
In the time of people, air conditioning was the lifeblood of every home. Now, there's no one left to adjust the temperature. No one to enjoy the cool. But 70 miles away, the electric heart of the biggest nuclear power plant in the country still beats, powering the surrounding suburbs. The Palo Verde Nuclear Generating Station.
Palo Verde is the only desert nuclear plant in the Western Hemisphere and the only one in the country that's not located next to a natural body of water.
Most plants are built near rivers, lakes, or oceans so they can use that water to cool their reactors.
In the parched and sweltering Arizona desert, humanity found another way to cool Palo Verde's fuel rods. One that flows not through a riverbed or along a coastline, but through the sewers.
Instead of a natural water source, Palo Verde has an automated system that pulls treated sewage water from cities like Phoenix, Mesa, and Tempe and pumps it into reservoirs and cooling towers.
Going to the bathroom in Mesa is almost like performing a civic duty, because every time you flush your toilet, you're helping to cool a nuclear reactor.
The reactors still hum with power, not because of human hands, but because of the systems they left behind. A web of automated fail-safes designed to keep the unimaginable at bay.
We all know the names Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, Fukushima, because they were unbelievable disasters with far-reaching and long-lasting consequences. Palo Verde nuclear plant was designed to prevent exactly that kind of disaster.
The Chernobyl disaster caused nearly 200,000 homes to be evacuated, many of them eventually destroyed. 2 days after people, there's no one in Palo Verde's control room, no technicians keeping watch, and the plant's automated systems rely on human oversight.
The system is constantly monitored by operators who can make adjustments and respond to alerts. If the system senses that nobody is responding to it, it immediately triggers a shutdown.
Before a meltdown happens, a mechanism is triggered. That drops a control rod into the core, halting, or at least dramatically slowing, the nuclear reaction.
As it was designed to do, the system shuts the reactors down. But even then, the danger doesn't die. Spent fuel rods still radiate an unholy heat, powerful enough to melt through steel, concrete, and anything that stands in its way.
Used up fuel rods stay dangerously hot and radioactive for years. That's why they're stored underwater in cooling pools to prevent them from overheating or catching fire.
The cooling pools are the plant's last line of defense. But to keep the simmering rods from overheating, pumps have to constantly move cold water in and hot water out.
The cooling pump system would still be working because there are backup generators that work on diesel fuel. there's enough diesel on hand to keep the pumps running, but only if there's someone there to refill them.
With no one to refuel their tanks, the generators choke on the last fumes of diesel. The pumps sputter and die. Slumbering fuel rods begin to stir, not to supply power to the surrounding suburbs, but to bring annihilation.
The water would start to evaporate slowly at first and then faster.
The water in the cooling pools boils off, exposing the fuel rods to air. To put it mildly, this is bad.
The fuel rods are coated in zirconium, which is stable underwater but is dangerous when it's exposed to the air. Because once zirconium is out of the water, it can react chemically with steam, releasing hydrogen gas. And hydrogen gas is explosive. Like, hydrogen gas is what caused the Hindenburg to explode.
Hydrogen gas hangs in the air, growing thick, until it meets a spark, and all at once, it explodes.
This isn't a nuclear explosion, it's a chemical one, but the damage is catastrophic. Once a fire takes hold in a spent fuel pool, it's nearly impossible to stop. The smoke can carry radioactive material hundreds of miles.
The power plant is being consumed from within, radiation spilling out of every new breach of its walls. The toxic cloud spit out by the fire rises on the wind, moving toward the nearby suburbs, killing anything living, blanketing block after block of houses in corrosive isotopes and gamma radiation. How long before the homes of Mesa, Arizona are nothing but dust? "100 years after people, the houses that were once home to hundreds of thousands of people in the biggest suburb in America have crumbled into dust, leaving behind a barren wasteland. But even here, in the parched silence and toxic soil, new life emerges."
Nuclear radiation once made this place a dead zone, but now the worst isotopes are gone. Even cesium-137 has lost most of its bite. So if you look carefully, you might see cracks in the pavement blooming with weeds. You might see lizards scurrying through the ruins.
The streets are buried under sand, but mesquite and scrub are growing again. Tumbleweeds roll down the highways like a scene out of a forgotten Western, except this one's set in a weird post-apocalyptic suburbia.
In place of manicured lawns, towering saguaros now rise like desert kings, staking their claim where once porch swings and garden gnomes used to sit.
After a century without people under that unforgiving Arizona sun, it would almost feel like humans never existed at all.